So, according to Magic the Gathering, this is what Éowyn looks like, and this is what an Easterling warrior looks like. So, does that make any sense to you?
What kind of sick mind thought that one up?
Wes, hall min friend, and welcome to yet another video. It's striking, my dear friends, what awful state has the modern fantasy and modern world, and then the entertainment industry in general, has found itself in. Now, it's shocking more and more, and there you would think, after so many years of craziness and abhorrent things being done and performed upon our beloved stories, that nothing could surprise you. But, well, it's not surprising, but it's still quite unsettling. Please do look at the screen, my dear friends. Now, we all know what the Magic the Gathering trading card game has done to the character of Aragorn. I have covered it a couple of times. I have also used passages from the source material from Tolkien's books to demonstrate how wrong they are, and how very much on purpose they have race-swapped everybody's beloved character. Now, there has been a bit of a drama over the description of Aragorn in the book, where he is described as being, pale. But of course, there are some people who claim that pale does not necessarily mean white. And now, we've got another example, and it's Éowyn. The Shield Maiden of Rohan. And once again, I have to go to the source material. It seems to me that I'm pretty much the only one who is doing it. Just, it's really not that difficult to go back to the books, as the showrunners of The Rings of Prime have said. Go back to the books, well, they haven't, but I have, and I do, many times. And, lo and behold, a passage that describes Éowyn in detail. Now, I shall now read the passage, and then provide you with a further take of mine, and then, as a bonus at the end of the video, I shall provide you with one more example that shows you that, well, it's not really only the fault of the huge corporations and the publishers and the filmmaking studios, that not only the source materials, like books and literature in general, is in danger, but also it's the fault of the fans themselves. But it's not only the source materials, as I said, but also history. As we know what happened, for example, to Cleopatra in the latest Netflix show. But one thing after another, first things first. So this is a description of Éowyn from The Lord of the Rings, as written by John Ronald Reuel Tolkien. "Go, Éowyn, sister-daughter," said the old king. "The time for fear is past." The woman turned and went slowly into the house. As she passed the doors, she turned and looked back. Grave and thoughtful was her glance as she looked on the king with cool pity in her eyes. Very fair was her face, and her long hair was like a river of gold. Slender and tall she was in her white robe, girt with silver, but strong she seemed and stern as steel, a daughter of kings. Thus Aragorn, for the first time in the full light of day, beheld Éowyn, Lady of Rohan, and thought her fair and cold, like a morning of pale spring that is not yet come to womanhood. And she now was suddenly aware of him, tall, heir of kings, wise with many winters, grey-cloaked, hiding a power that yet she felt. For a moment still as stone she stood, then turning swiftly, she was gone. Now, first, I'd like to point out the beautiful case of alliteration that Tolkien used, and there you can see, even in his prose, you can see and find how much he was influenced by Old English literature and Old English poetry, which used alliteration of this kind very, very often, such as was the case in, for example, Beowulf and so on and so forth. So the last sentence goes, "For a moment, still as stone she stood. Then turning swiftly, she was gone." If you then took the first part of the sentence, "For a moment, still as stone she stood," you could really divide it into two half lines of the old English and old Germanic alliterative verse, where there should be at least three words that start with the same sound. So not only you've got this "still as stone as she stood," which of course start with a s sound, but also according to the rules of the alliterative poetry of the old Anglo-Saxon people, the st sound was really counted as one. So, but putting that aside, I'm sure there will be many people, many forked tongues who will say, yes, but fair doesn't only mean white and pale, but it also means good looking. Yes, of course. And there's another case of the word pale, but that, of course, has been covered already. What is also interesting and striking is the next card that I want to show you, and that's the Easterling, who there, as you can see, looks strikingly like a Viking warrior. Now, what does that tell you? So there was a chance for the true to the book diversity of non-white characters. And they made the character very much pale, very much blonde-haired. Why? Because it's a villain? That's probably the case. So, one last thing that I want to mention, that I hinted upon at the beginning of the video, that it's not only the huge corporations and the filmmaking studios and the publishers who are doing this, who are destroying today's entertainment and really the fun that we are having. Is the latest case of, craziness coming from our friends over the pond, from the United States of America. So, I've got a short story to tell you. I'm an avid collector of action figurines and merchandise, and I might have mentioned it a couple of times before. I've actually made a video about it quite recently. I have got big time into collecting the so-called Mythic Legions action figurines by the Four Horsemen Studios, and this this particular line of action figures is focusing on fantasy type action figurines. It's their own IP of the Four Horsemen Toy Design Studios. It's their own stories, their own characters. They are, of course, inspired by many things from myths and legends, history, so on and so forth. But it's not adapting anything, really. It's not adapting any previously published book or a film or, well, what have you. Is their own thing. They can do whatever they want. And recently, just a week ago, or not even, a couple of days ago, as of making of this video, they have announced a new line, a new wave of action figurines that will come out by the end of the next year. And as a part of this wave, they are going to release a Templar Knight who looks beautiful. It's like Sean Connery / the Templar Knight from The Last Crusade, you know, the Indiana Jones movie, the guy who says, you have chosen wisely. And along with his knight, a horse was going to come out with, cloth and soft goods material all over it, looking very much historically accurate. But it also, to some people, apparently, to some American citizens, looks like another case of a horse used by a certain group in the first, or about the first half of the 20th century in the United States of America, a hate group that used to wear white clothes and also used to put white clothes on their horses. I think you know what I mean. I wouldn't have thought of that at all. At all. The first thing I thought of when I saw the reveal was awesome Templar Knight, awesome horse. I want it on my shelf. I love knights. I love horses. I love toys. This is wholesome. I want it. Apparently, there are some crazy cuckoos everywhere, and they pointed this out to the company, to the Four Horsemen Studios, and the Four Horsemen Studios announced that they would change the cloth material on the horse, and that it would look differently. So this is why we can't have nice things. Literally. This line is now fitting here like a glove. This is why we can't have nice things. Because there are crazy people everywhere. In the midst of the entertainment industry and in the midst of the fans. Alright then, let me know in the comments down below what you think. They'll be all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm out of here.